Alright, well, I have to say, the vinegar worked beautifully. This baby looks like brand new. Cleaned it all up really nice. I do need to do a little bit more polishing on it, but I am immensely pleased with how it turned out. I did, while I had this open, I took my dremel and kind of ran inside of there and cleaned up those surfaces. Anywhere that the surfaces meet where the gaskets are here in the lids and stuff, I went ahead and kind of cleaned those up. And then some of the chambers where water flows inside, I kind of smoothed out, kind of like a slight port and polish, like you might do on an engine, just to make it a little bit smoother. Got rid of some of that built up epoxy around the base. And the set screw I don't think is going in far enough. It's supposed to meet up to that little rubber diaphragm in there that pushes. I think that's intended to regulate flow, but I'll have to learn more about these Grocos. But I'm really pleased with how this came out. Yeah, these guys are, I think they're $500 or $600 new, and boy, this just cleaned up beautifully. I think I'm probably going to hit it with a can of polyurethane. Because, you know, it's a pretty piece. It's going to be in the engine compartment, and, you know, I'm kind of wired that way, I guess. I want it to look pretty. Keep it from oxidizing anymore. So yeah, I'm pleased. Now I don't like, yeah, it sure seems like, because we've got this bigger thread coming out here, that we should be able to get a bigger, you know, exit port. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't like that reduction. But anyhow, it looks great. I'm really pleased. I'm going to pretty much consider this project finished. I got to get some new gaskets for it and ordered up. But strainer cleaned up really nicely. So I'm really happy with this guy. Yeah, came out really nice, cleaned up beautifully, and pretty much right now is ready to go back in the boat. Not quite ready, but this thru-hull fitting will be next to go in. And I bought a sheet of 1/2 inch Marine-grade HDPE, and yep, I'm gonna cut my own backing plates out of this. Picked up a cheap Chinese hole saw kit, and I'm gonna put this on the my little drill press and cut out some backing plates. So that'll be really nice. Just hole saw some of those guys out, and that'll be a pretty good size backing plate for that guy. So it's only a 1 inch. So that's next, is to cut some backing plates, and then I'll set up my router table and put a nice little half round edge over those, and this should be plenty to get the boat going. And I picked up this other piece of 1/4 inch HDPE. It's a bigger chunk because they recommend that I use a 1/4 inch plywood on 2 sides with a block of wood in it, and this goes around the mast step on the coach roof. It's used for that tabernacle fitting where the mast tilts up, and I didn't like the idea of using plywood, so I bought some marine-grade 1/4 inch HDPE. This is going to last forever, and I won't have to worry about that. So this is a piece that I'm going to cut to fit that, and then I will have some of this 1/4 inch laying around to use for projects. But there are quite a number of bolts and little through tie downs and stuff, fittings that have a chunk of plywood behind them now that's rotten, and I need to replace those. And so this is probably what I'm going to go with. So got some nice packer board, got some hole saws, so we'll get that done. And then once I get that backing plate made up so that I can mount through holes, we'll start getting these installed. Of course, I can put this valve on and close that, so that way we can stop water coming in the boat from at least one hole in the boat. Alright guys, well, this has really been kind of a fun little project. Like I said, I just haven't been feeling very good, but you know, it feels good at least to get something done while I'm laying around in the house with no energy. And we're having this heat wave right now. Everything's in the 90s, and it's just better to stay inside in the cool. So at least I can work on some of these smaller parts and get them prepared to go back in the boat later. This will save me time down the road. So yeah, vinegar and sea salt. Actually, I didn't invent this. I did some Googling online, and a lot of people recommended this kind of a treatment. I like the idea you can make your own vinegar, and anybody with some fruit juice and a container and a few months of time can make vinegar. It's so easy, and there's tons of videos and educational pieces online how to make vinegar. It takes about 6 months, and you come out with a nice product. I did go and grind off these edges a little bit because they had some like slag on here, and this is actually going to be the part that runs through the water, so I wanted to kind of smooth that off a little bit. There were some big chunks hanging off there. I know it's not going to affect performance a lot, but I like it to be aerodynamic. You know, not aerodynamic, hydrodynamic. Alright guys, it's time to have some breakfast now that I got the kitchen back. And so that's where we are on the water strainer. It looks great, it's all cleaned up, valve works nicely. I'm happy with it. I do have some Lanacoat, which is used to put dissimilar metals together, and I'm definitely going to go through all these bolts and fittings, and everything is going to get Lanacoat on it so that everything will move very easily with time. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting this back in the boat though, because it's a beautiful piece. I probably am going to leave the strainer out until after I do the engine work. I will put the thru-hull fitting. I'm not going to mount the valve, just do the thru-hull, and because I'm probably going to pull the engine, sandblast the outside, get all the scale off of the outside of the motor, and I got some new Yanmar silver to blow on the outside of the motor, and get it all cleaned up, and get that well underneath the engine cleaned up, look at the motor mounts, see if they need replaced, and take a look at that stuffing box, see what I need to do there. And get, you know, that bilge pump position down in that really deep part of the hold as well. So I'm going to work on all that while the motor's out. So these items will probably stay out of the boat for a while where they're safe, now that they've been cleaned up. So anyhow, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about boats. I'm learning as I go, and you know, people have constructive advice for me, I'm open to that. These are not pink before I treated them, so I know that they're not damaged. You know, a lot of bronze fittings, when they turn pink, there's a problem, and that's not what's going on here. So just the copper coming out in the bronze mix. Alright everybody, I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.